Well, hello, welcome back to Buckle Up. My name is Rob Wilson, and this is the Abarth 500e convertible, and I just started it up. It's electric, but it played a guitar, and then it sounds like there's an exhaust. That's so weird. I have driven a normal Abarth with a petrol engine, and I'm struggling to put this together because the car's acting like an electric car, but it's sounding like a petrol one. Now, this being the convertible, should we put the roof down? How do we do that? Oh, as easy as that, apparently. One press of the button. I don't know what this will do to the audio, but that's opened it sort of halfway, and then I think it can go fully down, same as the normal Fiat variant of this car. Wait. That's actually pretty fun, you know. I don't know really what I was expecting from this car. Well, I guess I was expecting it to be like the petrol one, but not. It's getting a bit blustery in here. That's 60. Okay, so that's... Maybe I'm going to have to close this back up, because it's so loud in here. So immediately, what I'm noticing is that while it makes a noise, it's not simulating gears. So it's just the same noise. It's like it's not ever changing up a gear, which of course it isn't, but how peculiar. So let's talk a little bit about the cabin then. It's very similar to the 500e that this is already based on, which means that you've got a big screen in the middle, you've got your toggle switches below that for things like changing the temperature and the fan speed and the direction of air travel, which is great. I'm glad that they're physical buttons and not hidden in the screen somewhere. You've got your drive selector down below that, which is just buttons, P, R, N and D. And then you've got a wireless charger here as well for your mobile phones. That's nice and handy. Then down here at the center console, you've got your electronic parking brake, you've got your drive mode selector and your volume switch. And then in this cubby, you've got USB, USB-C, 12 volt, and lots of space actually. Down there I've got an armrest as well. It all feels very nicely screwed together and nice use of materials. You got our good friend Alan Cantara is on the dashboard. I've got Alan Cantara on the steering wheel as well. Yeah, it feels quite premium, to be honest. I wasn't necessarily expecting that, although it better be premium feeling, because this car in this spec with this convertible roof is basically £42,000. I'll just leave that for a second to let that sink in. This Fiat 500 essentially is £42,000. That is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. But we'll move past the shock, I guess, of the price, and I'll talk a little bit more about the specs of this car. So we've got a 42 kilowatt hour battery, and that's sending power to the front wheels, so it's still hot hatchy in that regard. But what they've done over the standard Fiat 500e is they've reduced the gear ratio for acceleration purposes, basically. So that means this can get from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds flat, which is, I mean, it's definitely hot hatch territory. That's so funny with that exhaust note. It's basically just a massive boombox in the back of the car. Here we go. It's mainly in the 0 to 30 that you really feel the acceleration. It does sort of drop off after you get above 40 miles an hour. I tell you something for nothing, it's definitely a Abarth in its ride quality, and by that I mean bouncy. It's still it feels quite harsh, and it really does bounce along. So it's not the most comfortable car in the world, but that's not really what you buy this sort of car for. It's for how it drives, and from where I'm sitting, it's driving pretty well. It's very fun to drive, actually, very fun. It's definitely more fun than something like a Honda E, and am I going to say that it feels better than an electric Mini? That would be a difficult one to answer, to be fair. I should say that you can turn off that boombox if you want to, because to be honest, if I was living with it every day, it might get a little bit drony. Okay, so its top speed is 96 miles an hour. Then electric cars are just never as quick as their ICE equivalents, so that's to be expected, really. We've got 234 newton meters of torque, which is quite a healthy amount, and 152 brake horsepower, so it's not quite as fast as the outgoing ICE models, but this currently is being badged as an Abarth 500, and people who have Abarths will know that they were previously badged as 595 and 695. So I'm not a betting man, but I would bet that there will be a 595 and a 695 version of the electric iteration of Abarth coming in the not too distant future. This is an excellent start, and it actually does feel the most hot hatchy of all of the electric cars that I've driven. The other problem is range, because this will do a claimed range of 150 miles, which is way less than the claimed range on the normal Fiat 500 electric. That's 199 miles, although that's pretty optimistic. The other thing as well is weight. This weighs 1,435 kilograms, which for a small car like this is quite a lot. Not really sure that there will be too much room in the back of this if you've got me sat in it. I'm very much enjoying how it drives, very much. I think the range is a huge compromise, because if you're going to be driving it like you want to drive a hot hatch, the range is not going to be 150 miles. It's going to be a lot less than that. It's going to be maybe less than 100, and I'm not so sure that that's good enough. But battery technology is improving all the time. Stuff like that is only going to get better. So watch this space, I guess. I think the seats are a lot more comfortable in this for taller people, because in the previous version of Abarth and Fiat 500 for that matter, the seats weren't quite supportive enough for people who were longer in the limb. Loads of headroom, and obviously if I put the roof down, then I've got 93 million miles of headroom, basically. I think if you're looking for a second car, and your first car is petrol or diesel, and you're wanting to branch off into the electric market, it doesn't need to be the everyday car. It can just be the, you know, the town runabout. This is a really good, fun option if it wasn't so expensive. Do I think that current Abarth owners will like this? I think that they will. I know that it's it's like a cult, but it's like that with minis and stuff as well. They love their cars a lot, and I don't know if they'll think that making it electric is not sacrilege, but it's not going to be to everyone's taste. I'm sure that there'll be plenty of current Abarth owners that are dead set against the idea of having an electric hot hatchback. But that sound box goes a hell of a long way to livening up the electric car experience. Well, that's probably enough chattering on from me. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a like. If you've got anything to say, comment down below. I'm sure that there'll be plenty of Abarth owners that have their opinions, and I would like, genuinely, I want to know, do you want one of these? Would you ever get one? Do you like it? Are you okay with it being electric? Also, please do subscribe to the channel and hit notifications so you never miss an upload. If you want to support the channel, we have memberships, and we also have merch, which I'm sporting for you here. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.